Hey, what's up? This is another episode of Watch U Strappin. These are not watch reviews. It's just a quick wristwatch check with a aftermarket pairing, strap pairing. That is, just to show it off. Whatever, some new color combination or whatnot. Just to show off, maybe some ideas for some people. And today and also consider these basically either an extended review or supplemental information as a user experience goes. Today, this is the Timex Q GMT. Yes, it is a quartz GMT watch, but I really like this watch a lot, more so than I thought I would. Not bad for pretty significantly under $200. Actually, was after you get like discounts, which Timex seems to always have. Get a further shot away here, a little wider. But going back in, this is a watch. Which little spot there on the crystal. I love the fact that actually it is ticking pretty damn precisely on the mark. Of course, being quartz is very accurate too, and all that combined, it's a pretty good package. I got plenty and have had plenty of automatic and mechanical watches throughout my experience as a watch fan, and I don't know if I consider myself a collector, although I do say that I have a watch collection, even though it's small. At present, smaller than it's ever been, really. But I'm trying to cut down and find key pieces that I think will entertain me for a while and keep it simple and just be able to enjoy a smaller collection more frequently, if you know what I mean. Just I don't want to have too many things sitting around and waiting to be back in rotation. And the fact that if you have a collection too big, you kind of need to force them into almost like a schedule, which kind of sucks. I mean, yeah, some people should just pick up whatever they feel like, but then again, for me, if I know that something's been sitting around longer than others, then I feel obligated to put it back. So that's for me, they usually run a rotation. Sometimes they may skip one just because I feel like a particular watch wearing it a little bit more, or go revisiting it back sooner than later, but that's how it usually goes for me. But anyways, this is a really good GMT. I really like that. Yes, it has a very Pepsi GMT Master look to it, but that's the look that I like. But I don't want to spend crazy Rolex money on it. And I've been through many of this kind of style. If you look at my past, definitely this style of GMT has been probably the most dominant with the red and blue. I just like that color combination on such a watch. And I do like this more vintage style with the smaller numerals and the thinner bezel, and the fact that it's an aluminum bezel is a good thing too for me. I prefer that over ceramic. I just like the sheen of aluminum. I think the way that Timex did this in its own way in their basically their Q line model, I think this is really good. It doesn't have a loud tick, which I believe the original Qs, just the non-GMT version, I believe it has a Seiko movement in it. Is notoriously for being loud. I don't know if they changed that. I imagine probably not. But this does run on you can see a Swiss movement here. Yes, it does have a Swiss Ronda GMT movement, and it works. And I like the case. It's very unique. I like the angles. It's kind of like an integrated bracelet design. You can basically consider that when on a bracelet. But today I have this on. This is one of a couple of replacement watch bands. I think they call it TPU. Basically, it's not quite a FKM or even a rubber. It's definitely not silicone. I hate silicone. They're just cheap and messy because they just stick to lint all the time. No, I prefer FKM, but natural rubber. Dog better not run out on the street. I just see something in my mirror. Because it's a busy street that I'm parked on. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, but this TPU, it's almost, basically I believe it's a very similar material that you might find on G-Shocks. I guess you would call them a resin case or matching resin band. They don't really exactly have like a rubber, because they don't have that rubbery feel. It almost feels a little bit closer to, I would say, more plasticky in feel. But it's not, I don't know, it doesn't feel bad for that. And for around under $10, I say, what the heck? I mean, this watch isn't expensive anyways. I don't feel it could use a nice band, because this watch does appear nicer than in person than you would think something of this price would. Actually, you look at the details, it's actually really cleanly done, especially on the dials. You look at the indexes in the hands. At least to my eye, I haven't gone on a macro level, but even from as close as I can get, it looks very clean. There's nothing really messy about it. And again, the fact that this, at least my example, hits the marks perfectly, everything looks really nice and perfect for this type of watch. And I think this makes sense to have as a GMT, as a travel watch, even though this doesn't have a quote true, I don't like that word though, a traveler's GMT movement, where you would actually be able to quick set and fast forward, or quick set back the hour hand to your new local time wherever you go to. This does have an independent GMT hand, which you would set quick set, I guess, instead, which is fine. I don't, both are true GMT watches. Are just different kinds, the way you use them, or they're at least what they are better focused at. A travel GMT, definitely better if you travel more. You want to quick set the main hour hand to the new local time and leave the GMT as your, I would reference probably your own home time, if not the few people that actually set it to GMT, which is a good way to do it. Actually, I never thought about it, because I don't really think about GMT. I don't travel that much, but that's the standard, or I guess maybe UTC now, but I think it's the same thing. That's a standard point which you can reference any other time in the world off of that, and then you can quickly set it, unless you know your home time and how many hours and far back any other city is in the world. That's why a GMT is a good standard for this kind of, no matter what. If you know that one, then it's the same everywhere. Then you can easily calculate and adjust your watch to show another time zone accordingly. But yeah, I don't mind. This works, and being inexpensive as it is, and being quartz too, is pretty robust. It makes pretty good sense as a travel watch. You don't want to bring anything too expensive. At least I don't. I don't know if who may be looking to want to gank your maybe multi-$1,000 watch, right? You don't want that. So yeah, this one looks good, and it works pretty perfectly, as well as yeah, just inexpensive and quick and easy grab to go. And even though it's just 50 millimeters of water resistance, I think this will work fine if you really go and swimming with it. I've done that with and like diving and all sorts of crazy stuff. Well, not really crazy, but much more active stuff in water. Even with like a plastic 30-meter Swatch watch, it never had any water ingress into it. And so I imagine the same. And if it does, well, oops, the watch isn't that expensive, and maybe a perfect excuse to buy a new watch while on vacation, because maybe this one may have broken. It didn't have as much water resistance as at least I would think it does or should. And then, well, I guess I'll have to buy a new watch. But anyways, yeah. So this brand is going back to it. I got one in black. I think maybe from a different brand. There's a bunch of probably some off Chinese brands, whatever. They're all around the same price, and they look all the same. But these are replacement bands for I believe a Casio F-91W. Yeah, and they're inexpensive, but they have the same 18 millimeters, and then they fan out. It should ideally fan out to 22 millimeters, but it does go up to 21, which is fine. It's close enough. Only like a half a millimeter difference on either side of the case, but it's still generally, if you look, flows from the case lugs, or what you call lugs. I guess you could call it hooded lugs. But that shape here is just, you can see, it just basically flows right off of it. So it maintains that kind of nice flow and integrated look, but it's integrated into a bracelet. And I like the little design here that gives like a sense of an image or a feeling of like a link bracelet, but it just goes into a band. And I think it works. It's inexpensive, it's comfortable. I had one in black originally, first, and I still do. And I decided, oh, why don't I get some other colors? So I picked up a white one, which I don't have right now, and I also picked up this green one. I would consider this like I might initially want to call this an olive green or olive drab, but I don't think it has, that color isn't quite an olive color. Close enough, but maybe you can consider it like a drab green or green drab, whatever you can call it. It's a very military color. And in my experience, and maybe my taste, I find that anything for a watch band that has like a military kind of color, like such as this olive drab or olive green, like a sandy, dusty, kind of earthy color, khaki, those type of colors, even a gray, gray I consider military. They're all very muted and toned down. They all work on just about any watches, in my opinion, and they're kind of universal. Even though, for instance, this watch doesn't have any green in it, no big deal. I think it's just like one of these universal, like toned down, fairly mild color that just works with anything, but it gives a little bit of color, but not too much. And I think it looks good. It looks interesting. I like this color in particular. This general kind of color. These are military green colors, and I think in combination with this particular watch, it's actually kind of cool. It gives it an interesting color combination, and I don't think it's too off-putting. But that's how I feel about it. You may feel differently, but that's okay. We can casually, comfortably, respectively agree to disagree on that. But whatever, it works for me, and that's all I care about. But that's about it. Yeah, these can be found on Amazon. If you want a link, I can probably find one that I got mine at. But it should be easy to find. Just look for like F-91W, replacement bands, and you'll probably get a couple of hits. And there's a couple of brands that basically offer the same thing. They're roughly around the same price, $10 or just under that, and they each have a variety of colors. Yeah, so that's it. So thanks for watching, and enjoy your watches.